Hello, hello, hello.
Hi.
Another week, another bulletin.
Totally different bulletin covers.
I know,
week
this one's
for-
not even close.
Not remotely.
Not remotely. Sometimes
Well, I mean, like
it's
the back to school one didn't help either, but this
no,
one's
this one looks very different.
yeah.
Well, actually, but then again, though, you could do the tie-in because the words on the picture on the adult bulletin is what the picture
Children's
of the
bulletin.
children's bulletin is about. So we can tie them together.
All right,
of
there
course.
we go.
There we go.
There's always a tie.
There always is. So yeah, the picture on the front of the adult bulletin is it's like a wintry, stormy. It's kind of a pre-fall looking, like there's white waves kind of a thing, and
It might be what the peninsula is looking like right now with this rain going on.
exactly. That's kind of why I picked it, because it's showing the change of seasons. But in Spanish, I won't even try and say it incorrectly. So it says in Spanish, but also in English, the one who humbles himself will be exalted. And this is coming from...
Annie said it earlier today, or yesterday.
Yeah, she did. It was like, oh, wow. Anyway, so it's interesting because like the gospel is all about Jesus tells the story, which is what's portrayed on the front of the kids' bulletin. When you go to a party, don't sit at a place of honor. Like, don't walk up to the head table and be like, this is for me, and then sit down.
Right.
And then because Jesus says the owner or the host. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm like the party person.
The person who's throwing it.
The host will walk up to you and be like, actually, someone way more important than you is here, and that's their seat. So move. And then you have to proceed in shame to the lowest place. But if you go to the lowest place, then the host will come to you and say, come sit closer. So the idea is those who are first shall be last shall be first. But it really kind of comes down to just humility in general. The first reading starts with conduct your affairs with humility. And we had a great conversation at Bible study about what humility is. Humility really is just recognizing the reality that there is a God and I'm not him. St. Augustine, whose feast day, I think is today. It's either today or yesterday.
Monica was yesterday.
Yeah, so today is Saint Augustine. He had a quote that we had in the bulletin, or that I was going to put into the bulletin, I should say. I was going to, but I did not, because we had him in last week.
Sure.
That said, pray as though everything depends upon God, but work as though everything depends upon you. And so the idea is to say that without God, we can really do nothing. We can try. The Bible verses about that too. Paul talks about it. I can. He says if I do all these crazy things, but I don't have love, I'm nothing. My words are nothing. Saint Thomas Aquinas, who I would say is arguably one of the smartest people probably ever. When he finished his writings, he said they're nothing. They're ash. It's and so the idea is it's we can come up with the best things as human beings, but without God, it really doesn't mean much in the end, because without God working in us and through us, we can only get so far. That's why prayer is so important. It's not a thing where it's just action or just prayer. It's both at the same time. You have to do both. It's kind of like the example that was brought up at Bible study was the 5 loaves and 2 fish. I believe it was St. Andrew who was like, hey, Jesus is you give them something to eat, all 5,000 people. And he was like, they were like, we can't. And Andrew's like, well, we have 5 loaves and 2 fish, or this boy has 5 loaves and 2 fish. There you go. Mm-hmm. And Jesus is like, okay.
Right.
And so that's kind of the vibe. So anyway, do you have anything to add to that?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Be humble. Be humble. We have the Litany of Humility in the church office, if you're interested. It's a beautiful prayer that I've never seen Jesus not answer. So he doesn't waste opportunity. So be humble. It doesn't mean that you're nothing. It just means God is everything. So anyway.
That's easy.
Yeah, simple, not easy, because I'm a prideful person. I don't know if anyone else struggles with pride, but every once in a while. There's not a whole lot going on. Parish office will be closed on Monday
Yeah.
for the holiday.
Yeah.
And then it's a usual week.
For all those who labor should have rest, right?
Exactly.
Something
so
like
there
that.
you go. Yep.
Okay, see, I'm not, Tim's all in the quotes today, and Sarah has,
Sarah's actually a lot
Nothing.
more brilliant than people than you like to give yourself credit for. But I
nothing.
understand. It's okay.
yeah.
Then we have there's a time. It just says time because we don't know when. So pay attention. The which group is it?
Legion of Mary.
The Legion of Mary will be going on a pilgrimage to the Mary Center in Ohio. Exactly when though? Pay attention because I asked
on that
for
Saturday, but
I
don't know
asked
what
for the time. Haven't heard back yet. So
Yeah.
pay attention, and we will.
If you're interested, just
Let us
keep
know.
calling the office.
Yep. Eventually, when we know,
We'll tell you.
we will tell you. So, absolutely. Very good. Then, that's really the only thing. We just want to encourage people, continue to invite people to Mass.
There is school mass starting next week. So
That's true.
if you want to come on a Wednesday afternoon at 2, please join us for school mass.
Absolutely. And then also, we are having a new little part of the bulletin called the St. Jude School Corner. It's just a little spot. We'll have little updates from the school, things that they've been doing, have that connection. This is kind of neat. Okay, so Uno's tip of the week, I was trying to find a saint because I'm just we did August and we don't whatever. And so I'm kind of looking up humility things. And we get this quote from Saint Therese of Lisieux: "Miss no single opportunity of making some small sacrifice. Here by a smiling look, there by a kindly word, always doing the smallest right and doing it all for love." And I was just kind of thinking about how easy it is to get bogged down with life, with circumstances, and just no, you can really make a big difference with those small things, And then I wrote here about the Great Commission. Jesus is saying that, we are to go out and make disciples, but sometimes it's easy to overlook that the ends of the earth include where we are. We always think about, I got to go across the world, where actually there are people in your own house that might need to experience the love of God. And you can do that, as St. Therese says, with a smile. So don't be afraid to do that. And then the stewardship moment is very good as well.
And hashes out the gospel one more time.
Oh, and then what was crazy? So I was praying with this. This is what I was saying was a cool thing. So this doesn't happen to me very often, but this was kind of neat. So I was sort of praying with that, oh, Lord, help me to do that better. And then the next day, she's going to probably be annoyed that I'm mentioning this on the podcast, but Rose comes to the office and we're talking. And we're talking about this. She doesn't know what's going to be in the bulletin, and she's talking to me about this fact that we have to be, generous in love and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you're starting to sound like Saint Therese of Lisieux. And then I look, and Rose is wearing. I'm talking to Rose, Rose is wearing a cardigan that has at least a dozen roses on it. And I was like, there it is. There's the rose sign. And then what was so beautiful was during Bible study, it was unprompted. Nobody said we should do this, but people started to thank her for inviting them to things. It was beautiful. Someone said, we're talking about being kind to people, inviting people, all these different things. And someone goes, I just got to thank Rose. She invited me to this over and over again. And we decided to come. She
doesn't do it just once. No, if you don't come, she's going to keep telling you about it. She doesn't give up.
She keeps doing it.
Yeah.
And what was so neat was, the first person said, thank you. Now I come every week, as you know. And literally all of a sudden, it was person, all saying, she invited me, And all of a sudden, I'm looking at this room that has become such a tight group. And many of them are there because Rose invited them. So that's just kind of why I'm mentioning it again, this little shout out that says we invite you to bring someone with you to celebrate the Mass with us next weekend. All are welcome. You never know. Just keep doing it, because one of these times they might say yes, and it might get them going on a journey. There's a couple of events around the diocese. Check it out. Our Ladies Guild is going to be starting their monthly meetings.
Right.
So all the women of the parishes of St. Jude and St. Stephen are welcome to join. So check that out. Also, the choir, again, is inviting those 15 and older who, have some musical ability to join the choir. So check that out as well.
Super fun.
Enough of that. Let's get to the good stuff. Not that it's not
So
good.
another,
you know what I mean.
Another saint that is not talked about, I don't hear very often, is Saint Ingrid of Sweden.
Tell us about her.
So she lived under the spiritual guidance of a Dominican priest and became the first Dominican nun in Sweden. And then she established a Dominican cloister in Sweden. So
Wow.
That's like really a lot of cool stuff. When she died, she was surrounded by an atmosphere of holiness. She's the patron saint of those seeking to grow in their spiritual life and those involved in works of charity.
So basically, like the kids would say, she had an aura.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't know. I wonder what color that was.
What is? Well, I'm just like, it's just interesting. Like, what do you think? Like you just think about people who are like holy,
Yeah.
but not like rude about it. You know what I mean? Like it's like just people who are like we were talking about humility earlier, just like humble, loving, kind, like you're like this person.
This person's
like,
holy.
This person, you can sense it. Like that's a real thing. So it's kind of neat. She's like just like this is a big deal.
So for the kids' gospel reflection, they took it to the part where if you act bossy, you might get your way, kids, but you don't always make friends by being bossy.
Sure.
Some of us have learned that the hard way.
I was going to say, this applies to adults.
True.
Absolutely.
Right? So like, that's why I picked it. Because I
was going to say, yeah.
I feel some of this sometimes.
Sure.
So when you treat others with kindness, they will want to be your friends instead of telling other kids what to do. So choose a game where, like you play tag or something and you be it first.
Yeah. You take the burden on yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So, dear God, help me to be a good friend.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that.
Another fun thing, our choir is looking for music people to join. And also this week in my kids' bulletin
ironic,
was how music is mass. A fun fact, it's not used for entertainment. So the music at mass is used for worship. We must select music according to the guidelines given by the church. They do put out a list of things. So, but today, listen to the music at church and try to find something that was your favorite song, and then maybe why that was your favorite song.
Absolutely.
And then consider maybe praying with that song or some other type of Christian church hymn this week with your family. And then we went and did a family prayer. There was a family prayer on Labor Day, and I just didn't feel like that was enough to have as our family prayer on the back, so I picked something different. There's yet another scene of Jesus inviting all people to the table. Another gospel reflection on the inside. And then as we invite people to the table, let us remember our grace before and our grace after meals prayers. So
that's good.
To pray for those who invited us, to pray for the gifts that were given during the meal, and to pray for us to go forth and take what we have and share it with the world.
There you go. You know what's funny about this Bless Us, O Lord prayer? So, obviously we do it before meals.
Yeah.
But one time I took a group of youth to a Steubenville youth conference, and the MC was like, you should give Jesus your first thought of the day. Like, that should be your goal. Like, get to a point in your relationship with the Lord that when you wake up, your first thing.
Sure.
Jesus, right? So he said that he'd been trying that for years and he couldn't do it. Like, it's just like, because, I mean, you're waking up. Like, you don't necessarily have control of your brain as you wake up. So he decided that he's going to wake up and immediately he's going to just like say a prayer. And he tried it with all kinds of prayers, like the Our Father. But, he's groggy. He goes, the only prayer that worked was this one. And he goes, maybe it's because of the food, but he goes, but it's ironic when you think about the words. And I remember him saying this, and it was one of those moments where you're like, that's not, oh my gosh, you're right. When he goes, this prayer has nothing to do with food. specifically.
It doesn't, no.
It doesn't. It never actually, because I never realized.
Gifts.
I've prayed it every day of my life and never actually noticed that it doesn't say, because you have the other one that some people will use, which is, bless this food to our bodies, whatever, however that one goes. It's less well known.
Sure, yeah.
Might have been a Protestant friend who had that prayer going on. I don't remember. But anyway, bless us, O Lord prayer. Everybody knows it. And it's just kind of funny because like hearing that and being like, oh my gosh. And yeah, so he said, so now he goes, he said that now before he did anything, he wouldn't just be like for food, but like everything. He's like, before this talk, I came out, I was standing over there and I went, bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts, like what I'm about to receive,
sure.
like what I'm doing right now. And I was like, that's actually awesome. So there you go. If you're having trouble praying and being grateful to the Lord, just bless us, O Lord. There we go.
Amen.
Yeah. So, very good. I think that's everything for this week. Know of our prayers for you. Have a very happy holiday weekend. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Or this weekend.
God bless.
Bye.